Hey everyone, and welcome back to another interview on Agape Investing. Today I'm going to be talking with Janae Pollard. She is a personal finance strategist helping small business owners to start and sustain a profitable business. She owns and operates a business herself called Faithful Finances, where she helps with tax preparation as well as money coaching. So if you're looking for money coaching or tax preparation, whether it's personal or business related, this is definitely the interview for you to check out today. So let's get on to it. Okay. Hey, Janae, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? So happy
I'm
to be here.
so good. Yes, I'm super excited to have you here with me today.
Yes. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So, Janae, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of a brief overview of what it is that you do?
Getting that insight into their personal and business finances.
Cool. Yeah. I honestly I saw your Instagram account, a few weeks back and was really excited to talk to you. I love connecting with people who are talking about faith and their finances, and you have a really important job of teaching people how to do taxes and business accounting, which I feel like I still don't understand quite quite totally.
Yeah.
So yes. So I wanted to start off today and maybe tell us a little bit about how you got into your business, Faithful Finances, and yeah, just kind of that process of how you started up.
Okay, I kind of honestly, I would say I went through something similar to what's going on today. I've never been bad with money. Like my mom taught me, the basics, like pay your bills on time, keep good credit. So I've had those things, even saving a lot. So I've always had kind of the touch of good finances, or what I thought, or what I was presumed that, good money management skills were. However, a few years back, I kind of had a situation where I didn't really have a lot of income to actually manage. So I knew that I had to really get serious about my own money if I wanted to live a life where I wasn't bound by money, which is, the Bible promises us a life of prosperity, and it doesn't promise us like we shouldn't have to be stressed about it. So pretty much I had the skills. I'm an accountant and I knew money. I knew how things moved. And so I really just started digging into really God. I got my faith right, because when certain things move, like I think a lot of people right now are like, you know what, I might not need work as much as I need God. So really putting God first in everything that I did, and he just kind of overflowed in my finances, and he helped me. He gave me the divine knowledge and the divine wisdom to get organized my personal finances. And so after a few years of doing that, going back to school, getting my master's, and really just trying to see what was my future, like what had God promised me in the future, I realized that he's given me a lot of resources, and so I wanted to use them in the best capacity as possible. God is very strategic, and so I wanted to just follow in his footsteps and use my resources to really bring awareness and help other people that are in times like this that may be struggling, and just to really get their personal finances together so it's not a burden to them mentally, spiritually, and they can just walk in the promises of God and do the true work that God has called them to do. In doing all of that, I used to literally just like give out information and give out stuff. And so important thing of, in anything, in any business, if you really want to develop wealth and all the things that we're really looking to do, have an abundance in, taxes came about. And so I have done
Yes.
taxes for about 7 years now. I started in college where I used to volunteer and do taxes. And then I would do my friends or whatever, but really knowing that it's a need-based business. And I used to talk to people about their finances, but I was realizing that the only people that was really caring about their personal finances, or that was kind of showing up to my events, were small business owners. And so at the moment, I wasn't a small business owner, so I was talking to people about their personal finances, and then I'm like, well, all these business owners are showing up. And so I realized that a lot of people don't actually, if they're good, they might not, want to desire an extra set of income. But when you become a business owner, you have two sets of finances to manage. And so that's how I kind of got into taxes with the new tax laws, and just like really studying and seeing how can I bring value to other people.
Mm-hmm.
People might not know that they need their money. People might not know that they don't have really good money management skills, but they know they need their taxes done. And so I kind of use that as a way to get in the minds of a lot of people and to see like how they're feeling about it. So my first year in tax business, I was able to kind of get that information and to see how I can better serve people, how I can, enlighten them and share, the knowledge and information that I have, even through servicing them and providing them an actual service. Because, as you give out value, you want value to come back. So I kind of really had to make it a business. And what's so funny is that in learning the tax laws and the new tax laws, I realized how important it is for everyone to really have kind of a business. Like if you really look at the tax laws, it's set up for new business owners. It's set up in the way that we can thrive in times like this, or like just being able to maneuver and manage. So I took all the information that I learned and I applied it to my business. And so that's why I'm just constantly, getting information, and everything that comes in, we apply it. I'm a big believer in like practicality. So everything that I kind of put out there is kind of from me knowing and then me doing, and then I'm able to share that information and know that it'll stick, and that you can use these same tools, these same strategies, because God is he's no favorite person. So if I can do it, if he can do it for me, then he can do it for all of us, and he will. So just letting people know that hope is there, financial freedom, and all of those good things where you don't have to worry about your money because you are prepared. It's kind of the best route to go. So.
Wow. I love that. I love that you did taxes for your friends. Gosh.
Yeah.
Before we were married, before my husband and I were married, taxes were pretty simple. It was just myself. I had a single income. I didn't have like any investments. I, donated to my church, but it was very small amount, and taxes were very simple. And then we got married. And at the same time, around the same time, we bought a rental property. We started an LLC for our rental investments. And then my husband also had some investments that he brought on in a family LLC. It was all this stuff at once. And I was like,
a little fancy.
I can't do these taxes now. I don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome that you were doing taxes for your friends. I'm sure they really, really appreciated that.
Yes. And it's so, I think taxes is, especially when it comes to finances, especially business finances, because I always say the IRS is one, I always say like, your business, your accounting is like kind of a story that you tell. And so the story that you tell the IRS is pretty much your taxes. And so a lot of small businesses, what I see is that they kind of go into tax preparation at the end of the year. So I really try to, like this year, I'm really trying to get more people to do more tax planning and kind of planning ahead and making sure that like throughout the year, they're really taking advantage of certain credits and certain deductions. So they're not scrambling, looking for different documents, or looking to make sure that they actually can justify these different write-offs or these different expenses at the end of the year. So kind of staying ahead. That's kind of how Faithful Finances even started, like staying ahead of being prepared for your next financial move. So, when you get that tax bill, or, at the end of the year, it's not like, it's not a surprise, because you orchestrated your business, you've orchestrated your properties, you've orchestrated every part that you have, any income, any expenses, you've orchestrated in a way that you already know what's going out. And so that's kind of, planning ahead and making sure that your future finances is set up for growth.
Yeah, that's really, honestly, that's great. I've definitely learned that. We have someone who does the taxes for us. So, thankful for him for sure. But I learned from the first year of marriage, when we first did our taxes that year, that I didn't have everything in order. And, our accountant kept asking me for different things, and I was scrambling to like find all this stuff. And so and then the second year, I felt a little bit more on top of things, and I felt like I had everything. I kept lots of digital folders of everything and tried to stay more on top of that, so that at the end of the year, I just sent him the Google Doc folder of everything. And I was like, here is all of it. And I was like, let me know if there's anything missing. And apparently there was one thing missing, but I had it close by, and I was like, here you go. And it only took, a couple days to finish all of that. But yeah, staying ahead of all of that is so important. And I definitely learned that the hard way, but at least I learned it. And now
yeah, you're normal. You're
better.
You're a normal first-time business owner, and that's why I'm really, especially as we're kind of pivoting in the economy and everything. A lot of new business owners are coming about. I'm really trying to, get them to stay on top of it from the get-go, because it's really important, honestly. So I'm happy for you. You're the ideal client. Tell everybody to do exactly what you did.
Oh, thanks. You're flattering me now. So I would love to know why you chose the name Faithful Finances. When I found you on Instagram, that was one of the first things that I noticed, when I popped onto your page was, oh, Faithful Finances. That's really cool. What is she all about? So yeah, how did that come about?
That exact reason why how you found me, but seriously, the name Faithful Finances, it kind of came because I was in a situation when I started it where I was like, what is it going to represent? And so kind of who is my ideal client? So I know my ideal client was actually me. Nice. I know that I was at a point in my life where I didn't have it all together. And even if I knew certain things, I just didn't have it all together. And even looking around, sometimes you're looking around, it's like, I don't even have enough to save or to do certain things or to start a business. And you're looking around at like your current finances, right? And so how I came up with Faithful Finances is that, like, if you keep looking around at what you have, you're going to be scared to do anything, right? So the faith literally has to come first. I always say faith is like your belief and then working towards your belief. So if you can believe something, like if a client come to me and they already believe that like they can have a prosperous life, we can work. Okay. So now faith, we just have to really start doing the work and digging into those finances. But you're going to come and you're not going to see how it's going to work. But Faithful Finances is really like God in your money. Like, what does God want me to do with my money? Why do I need, people want to make more. Well, what do you want to make more for? I remember when I, a few years back, I had actually lost my job and some things had changed around in my life. And so I was, like I said, I've always kind of had those simple, basic money skills. And so I remember I was like, I want to just make a budget. I'm just going to make a budget. I'm going to make a faith budget. And I literally called it a faith budget. And so I put these numbers on paper. I said, Lord, if you give me this amount of money, this is what I do with it. I promise. I promise. And it took literally 2 years. And I mean, the number was bigger than I've ever made. You don't want to give God, you know what God can do. We want to see what God has in store for us. So I put the number down and I said, okay, well, we're going to see. And it took 2 years of me. It was 2 years in when I actually created Faithful Finances that I had went through a few things, but I got a promotion on my job. Now, I went from not having a job, making this faith budget, to 2 years later, having a job, having, work. I went and got back and got my MBA, and I got a promotion. Nice. And the promotion was that exact number that I put on that piece of paper 2 years ago.
Wow.
And so, yeah. And so in that, I was like, there is nothing that God can't do. It's nothing he can't do in your money. It's nothing he can't do for your life. And I had already committed to him what I would do with the money. And so it wasn't like, it was like, this is my responsibility now. And so I was extremely prepared for it. It wasn't like, what am I going to do? People get raises and, lifestyle inflation happens, but really being very intentional, asking God for what you want and him providing everything you need to get to that next step, to get to that next level, to get to that faithful budget that you'll live your life by and bless people through. And your tithes and offerings already on there, you're giving, you promise this to God. And so when you give something to God, I know he's always going to deliver on his promise. finances. So that's kind of how faith with finances is like God on top of whatever you already got. He's going to always, make more of it. So
that's great. I like how you said that our spending should be intentional. We need to focus on God, and he will tell us what we want, where we should spend our money, what we should be spending our money on and things. So, yeah. And I also like what you said. Actually, we have a friend in common, Jasmine Paul, and you had mentioned something about your own story about how you kind of went to the Bible and you had God first, and then all of a sudden your financial path kind of was more revealed to you. And Jasmine had said the same thing when I talked with her, was when she became a Christian, and then she started reading the Bible, and she's like, oh, the Bible's telling me like how to spend my money and what I should be doing with it. And it's like, whoa, sometimes people don't realize it until they realize it. And you're like, oh, the Bible really does tell us what we should be doing with our money and how we should be intentional.
It tells us everything, and like even it tells us everything. And so that's why it's like it was so intentional in the Bible. I think even me growing up, we didn't really even churches, I don't know, my churches that I used to go to, we didn't talk about money a lot. We kind of talk about like, if God, if it's for us, then God is going to do it. And it's like, well, what do we got to do? What exactly do we have to do? Like, is God, Jesus, is he going to come on the earth and do it for us? Like, we have to like do something. And so taking that belief to faith is like, it's kind of like the work. It's like a lot of believers are just believers. They're not really faith takers. They're not making things happen. They're not walking in the full promises of God because they just think it's going to fall out from the heavens. And it's like, well, God only bless what you give him, so you have to give him something to bless. So just kind of really changing the whole mindset of like, oh wait, we can talk about money in church now. We can talk about these things, like these finances, they need to be in every area of your life. Like, we can't, everything's free. It's costing you to sit in my house to, talk to you. So it's like nothing, we can't really avoid money. But it's like, what can we do with it? So just making it really giving God, like he can do anything with it. And so just really knowing like, what are we supposed to do with it? And so it's a good thing. I like God in control of my finances more than me.
Yes. Well, honestly, I think that, when we put God, or when we let God be in control of whatever it is, our finances, our life, our business, our family, it takes the stress off of us because we know that the results are not our own. And I find that has been so true with my business. And I wrestle with this all the time where I'm like, I make these goals and I want to meet them. And so I try and work really hard and I try and control it. And that's when I feel like I'm not making progress and when I'm not getting to those goals. But when I actually take that step back and focus more on God and what he's wanting me to just do, even if it's not even business related, if it's something totally unrelated and doesn't feel like it's going to do anything for my business, that's when I find I have the most progress towards my goals because I'm letting God lead the success path of my business. And so, it takes that stress off knowing that whatever the results are, they're not up to us. And that was key. That was definitely on point.
And even understanding, because it's so funny that you said that, even though you're in certain areas, just want to reemphasize, like, it's not really a destination that you're ever going to meet. Like, you're going to continuously have to give God, first off, all of you, but especially your money, as we're talking about finances in this case. So it's like, it's a continuous, every day you have to get up. I mean, I start my day with prayer and I ask God, like, how can I serve people? How can I bring value? How can I give value, and how can I get value? And I know that, money is an exchange of value. So, that's rooted in my prayer. Like, I don't want to go broke today or tomorrow, but just really, making sure that, like, God know that I'm here to do whatever you want me to do. And I know that if I'm here, then you're going to take care of me. So
Yes,
it's a journey. It's never a destination. We have to continuously have faith in our finances.
Definitely. So my Bible study right now, we're reading James, and we just read about how our faith is dead without works, basically without any action.
Yes. One of my favorite
So
verses.
yeah, I would love if you could kind of maybe speak into that when it comes to finances. How can we take action on our faith within our finances? So practically, how do we implement our faith into, how we're approaching our finances?
So, what I always say is that God has given you every resource today that you need to make it to tomorrow or to your next step. So, evaluating what you currently have. At the time, I thought I had nothing, but I realized that even though I had no financial income, maybe, during a certain part of time, God had actually given me knowledge, and He had given me, skill sets. He had given me something that was valuable. It's just that it hadn't been exchanged. Like no one had knew it, and so recognizing like your value, because like I said, yes, it's finances, but money is just an exchange of value. So if you want income to come in, you have to bring some value to the table. And so figuring out what God has given you, because we're all valuable, what God has given you in your current day, in your current resources, in your current, maybe it's a connection, maybe it's a phone call that you need to literally pick up the phone call and say, hey, can I help you in this area? Like, can I do something for you? I have this thing for you. And really just doing the work to make the current resources move, because that's what it is. It's we're not making money, we're just exchanging value, and that's really all it is. Just seeing how much something is worth. And so if it's picking up a phone call, if it's evaluating your current budget, which is usually what it is,
Yes.
if it's, it's like, oh, well, I don't have enough money to do this, but do I really need this? Do I really need all of these streaming things? Or even time, like time to me is one of the things that is one of the most valuable things, because you can't actually get it back. So when I started really saying, God, I want to do this, and like I don't, I got a child, like I gotta have all these other expectations or demands on life. Okay, well, Janae, you want to make, you want to have a life of wealth, right? So let's not look at your money because you say you don't have that. Well, let's look at your time. All right, you got you got 24 hours a day. What are you doing in those 24 hours?
Yes.
So okay, so it's like the same principles. And so even how I have it, I kind of have like a wealth principle. It's like kind of you start with managing. You manage what you have. You got to figure out what you have, and then you budget. You put a little bit of restraints on this. Like, okay, well, I used to spend $100 eating out every week. Let's scale back to 50. Or I used to spend 3 hours on social media every day. Let's scale back to 1 hour. And then the next step, after you kind of budget and you put those constraints on it, you want to save, so you're saving it. So now you got an extra $50. Okay, what you gonna do with that $50? You're gonna invest it. What are you gonna invest it in? That's what you have to figure out. That's what God says. So you have to figure out what can you invest it in. Those the extra hour that you cut off of social media, you save the extra hour. So what you gonna invest it in? What you gonna do with that hour? Let's make it, let's make this time, let's make this money, those resources that we actually, now that we see, oh, it's like, oh, I do have a little extra that I can work with. Let's give it to God and let's see what we can do with it, how we can get the most value for that. So I think time and money kind of go hand in hand for me. That is exactly something that I was, working towards when I first started Facebook Finances, is being in control of not just my money, but my time. So I think that's very important to evaluate your current resources. Figure out what you're doing, put some constraints on it, figure out how much you can save, and then reinvest in that into more profitable activities.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that is really important, figuring out what you can do with your time and your money to feel. I think sometimes we don't feel wealthy when we don't have money, but realizing that we still have so much time makes us very wealthy at the same time.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to kind of redirect us over to business finances. So for those of us who are being really intentional about our finances, in our personal life, how can we then be more intentional with our finances in our small businesses. And maybe, talking a little bit more practically on, how can we take control of our business finances in general?
So I think the same overall concepts apply. Putting God in your business first, like figuring out what exactly do you want to do? Like starting out, what value do you want to give the world? Like what has God given you to feed you, like to go to, he didn't, God don't bless us for us. So I always say, people come and they say, I want to make $100,000 in my business. I want to make 200, whatever your number is. And so before you even go to making that money, I always say, figure out where you're going to spend that money. Like, where is it going to end up? If you want to make $100,000, like, go ahead and put down on paper, like, what that money is going to be spent on once you make it, because the most dangerous thing is to have resources and not know how to use them. I think that is not a good thing. I think that a lot of times we pray for things because we pray for things and God doesn't necessarily change the situation. He just changes us. And so, you just like homeowners, or you pray for a business and then you get a business and you broke. And so it's like, well, that wasn't exactly the plan. So really just having a plan, like having that business plan, and not just like, who you're going to serve, but like, at the end of the day, I started this business because I wanted to, produce an extra income in doing something that I like to do. Okay, so what are you going to do with it? Like I always say, I know, people hate budgets, but I would just say write down exactly what you want to do. So if you want to make $100,000 in your business, how many people are you going to pay for that? Is it just going to be you? Are you going to give somebody else a job in that process? Is it going to be, what value are you going to give back even through your business? And so I think that that's important. And I think just not getting into it before and knowing different laws and knowing different breaks and what you can deduct in your business. Like that's kind of how the tax thing came about. Knowing those small business deductions is like, okay, well, if I make, if I can hire a person, like how employment is, or versus tenant, like just different, knowing first off, knowing about business. I think you need a very good understanding. Like you say, you have an accountant. Go to your accountant and do a little tax planning because taxes is, you can't get away, you can't hide them. But plan that instead of waiting to the end of the year to go get your taxes done. Call an accountant now and say, hey, I'm thinking about starting a small business. Is there anything that I should do, or how should I set up right? Just making those calls and like planning ahead, like really planning your business ahead. And if you have a business, I always like to do tax reviews, like make your check-ins and say, hey, these are the new laws that's changing, these are the new things. Go ahead and implement those into, like you may owe different things. A lot of tax laws is changing right now. So really, different filings is changing. So making sure like you're ahead of it, like you're ahead of the bill, or you're ahead of whatever is happening. And I think it'll consistently grow. It's just like compounding. It's like once you continue to put good into your business, you're going to continue to, like, the numbers is, you're not going to really honestly have to worry about the numbers if you plan for it, because it's prepared. So just looking at it, analyzing. And I also think that, like, because I'm an accountant, a lot of people look at their numbers so late, but I always say, just check in, just check in with your numbers, like weekly, honestly, maybe monthly, depending on what type of business you're getting. But just like looking at everything and making sure that you are constantly getting the value that you are worth in your business.
Yeah, there's a Bible verse in excuse me, in Proverbs that says, a wise man thinks ahead and a fool doesn't. And then he brags about it, but he's at a loss because he didn't plan ahead. So
and that's it. It's not a big mystery. It's not it's like you say, everything is in the Bible, but really just planning ahead. Like, even the Bible says, before I formed you, I knew you. Like God knew, in Jeremiah 1:5, like God knew us before he even made us, before our mom and daddy, like, that's like ultimate planning. Like that's strategy. That's like God knew that we're going to be sitting here having this conversation today. Like God is a mastermind. So if you really just like mastermind your money, I would say, or your honestly every area, but specifically money, your business, like he'll make it happen. Like he'll give you those resources. So that's why it starts with evaluating what you have, because even checking in with it, week after week, you're like, wow, I got. I'm growing. Like I don't even have to stop. I can keep doing what I'm doing. And even when maybe you do need to stop because like, no, that's not really working out, and like I said, money is an exchange of value. So if you're in business and a certain activity is not necessarily selling, or, maybe, I'm not a marketer, but if it's not selling, that might means that it might not be of a great value, or the market might not know what value you're offering. And so maybe it is time to switch and to pivot into something else that people really want and people really need. And so just, again, keeping that faith and making sure that it's all aligned. I think it'll help you in business strategy, planning, and everything. So I would just follow God. He's the GOAT.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah, pivoting is definitely a good thing. I think that every business kind of hits that point where they realize something and they're like, never mind, we should probably go this way. And I definitely have, all of us have small pivots, but then sometimes you just have that major one where it's taking you in a totally different direction.
Yeah, I gotta do that too. You'll give him your plans and he'll say, I got something better.
So before we sign off, I wanted to talk a little bit more about like practically how can we stay on top of, I know you talked about like a budget for us personally, and I guess what does a budget look like for a business, so how can we keep track of our expenses for small business owners?
So I do believe every small business should have bookkeeping. I know there's different people that make it monthly, but really not just putting the pressure on, the person that's doing the bookkeeping, but like getting with somebody to help you like understand what you're doing and understand what you want to do, and just making sure you're going in the right direction. So if you are not, if that's not your skill, that's not your strength in your business, because you may have you may be selling something online and it's like, I don't know anything about accounting. But I think that we should all know some basics of accounting, because accounting, like I said, accounting is, to me, is the story of your business. And so if you don't know the story that you're telling, and you have to tell the story to a few different people, you have to tell it to any investors, anybody that want to work with you, that want to, invest. They're like, oh yeah, like I really enjoy what you're doing. I want to be a part of it. So maybe they want to invest in it, but an investment is a risk. So you have to tell them your story. And you need to know that story. You need to know how your business is actually doing, and how that they can, invest in you and bring more value. So accounting is essential to me. And it also, you have to tell the IRS your story, right? So again, that tax planning ahead, like checking in, making sure that you're up to date on all the tax laws, making sure you're taking advantage of those deductions and those credits beforehand, and not saying, oh, well, I didn't know that had it. You have to go look for receipts at the end of the year. Planning ahead. The third person, I always say, we call it managerial accounting, is you need to know your story. Like you need to know how you're actually doing. So like literally just looking at that number, or getting those, if your bookkeeper gives you like a brief, your reports at the end of the month, like getting with maybe somebody that can explain it to you if they don't want to explain it to you, getting with somebody that can explain it to you, so that you're just like ahead of your business, and you're directing it, and you're gearing the business into the most profitable activities, to better you and your family and the people you serve and the people that work for you as well. This is necessary, but this is also costly. So how I did is I pretty much just put together a list of 2020 common business expenses. A lot of people don't want to invest in their business, but I think that some expenses are necessary to to sustain a business that you're proud of and that's profitable. So I always say you get into, your business, what you get out of your business, what you put into it. So those are just a list of common 2020 expenses that might not necessarily be so bad as expenses. And so you might need to invest in some of those things or put some of those things into your business. And then at the end of the year or at the end of the quarter, you actually, they're all tax deductible. So,
Yes.
so it's just all about that planning, even certain like grooming expenses, like, oh, wow. So certain different laws that you have to go by, make sure you still reach out to your tax professional, but just even organizing your day, like I didn't know grooming expenses is literally tax deductible, but you have to do it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so this is let me share what you guys. So the thing is with grooming expenses is that you have to because there's certain laws around everything, but it has to be primarily for business, right? So how I incorporate it into my life, because of course I still had bills to pay, is that I would do like all my marketing and stuff, I would do it on one day. So I would, plan ahead and plan ahead, get everything together. And then one day I would, have this thing where it's like, no, this everything here is business. Okay. We're not intermingling business and personal finances. So just kind of, again, planning ahead, knowing those laws, knowing that, okay, if I invest this, maybe you have a YouTube channel, like, and you want to buy a camera or you want to buy a phone, and saying, okay, well, I know I can buy this phone. I know I'm going to it's going to be tax deductible, but looking at kind of even the profitability levels on it, it's like, am I going to make money from it? Like, am I going to, is it a good investment? I say investment into your business, because again, what you put in is what you kind of get out. So just putting those necessary expenses to really have the business that you want, and have a business that you're proud of, and have a business that God is proud of and that people can reach you on. So that's just a kind of list of new business expenses. We all need coaches. We all need certain things. And we're all like, should I get this? Should I get this? And even as we're getting it, making sure that, you're keeping those receipts for it throughout the year.
Yes.
You're keeping everything, keeping up with everything. A lot of things are digital right now, thank God. But just keeping those receipts and just having that transaction list at the end of the year, so you kind of already know the cost. You already know the profitability. You already know what you're working for. You already know the time you're working for. You already know how much you're going to pay yourself an hour. All of those things that new business owners just kind of overlook, especially their first year in business, because if you invest your personal finances into your business, then it's going to probably help you at the end of tax season, your first year, if you didn't necessarily, make a profit. A lot of people have issues with saying, like, do I file my taxes because I didn't make any money my first year? It's like, well, did you set up your business right? Because it costs to be the boss, it costs for business costs. So depending on how that is structured. And so that's kind of why I work with people for their business. Like, what is the business that God gave you, and how can we use that in the best capacity and get those money rights and get all working out the details, the accounting details in the midst of it, but making sure that we still want to have profitable business activities.
Yeah.
So that's
awesome. Yes. I wish I had thought a little bit more about that right when we started out. So I'm sure that having that expense sheet would be quite a delight for everyone who is new into their business. So I highly recommend anyone go check that out. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, Janae, for being here with me today and chatting more about finances and taxes. And will you let us know how we can connect with you if anyone needs help with any of this kind of stuff?
So you can follow me on Instagram. It's faithful_finances. Also go to iamjanaedoe.com/faithfulfinances. My website is coming. I'm redoing. So right now I'm primarily on Instagram. And if you're interested in any tax or finance services, you can also email me at janae@myfaithfulfinances.com.
Perfect. And I will make sure to link to all those in the show notes so people can easily connect with you. And yeah, thanks again. And I will connect again with you on Instagram.
Yes, I look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Janae.
Hey, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. That way I know that you're enjoying the content I'm putting out and will create more just like it. If you have any suggestions, feel free and reach out. See you soon.